Yep.
Considering
You're never late.
considering the day I've had, it's not been too bad. So the town I live in is tomorrow. So we have the main strip of town, like what we would most towns would call Main Street. For some reason, ours is called Washington Street. So tomorrow we're having a miracle on Washington Street, and it's just a. It used to be a really cool like festival kind of thing, but now it's turned into hey, come spend your money, come buy this stuff, and it's not as much fun as this. Our church sets up a booth in it, and we do all kinds of outreach stuff and have fun with it. But it's going to be cold tomorrow. Well, it's going to be cold to me. You guys are.
Well, I mean, tonight's supposed to get down to 19 up here,
Ooh.
What's cold, John?
So
below 70.
So I don't know if you've ever experienced a very wet, humid cold, but I've been in 10 degrees in New Mexico and I've been in 40 here in Louisiana. I'll take that 10 degrees in New Mexico all day long. That dry, cold, I'll take it all day over.
Then you got to get. How cold does it get down there?
The coldest I've ever seen it was 9.
Oh, okay. So you get ice and everything down there then.
Yeah, and when we get ice, the world falls apart. So down south we get ice storms way more than you guys do. And when our infrastructure is not set up for ice at all. Our infrastructure is not set up for snow. If we get snow, it just shuts everything down at all. If we get an inch of snow, nothing. No school, Walmart's closed, nothing. Everything's shut down. So
that's crazy.
Yeah,
A buddy of mine moved down.
For Richmond area.
Yeah. A buddy of mine moved down to Texas, and he's born up here, and he said it snowed down there. Only like a soft, like just a powder. He said everyone just went crazy. Accidents everywhere. He's like, "What is this? What's wrong? What's wrong with everybody? It's just snow."
I mean, last winter we had about an inch of snow and some ice, and school was shut down for like almost a week.
Yep. I mean, we're not ready for it. It's not something that you see. I worked in Puerto Rico for like 10 months, and the absolute coldest that they have ever had in San Juan is like 58. So if it were to drop down they're not ready for it, so like in the South isn't ready for it, because if you spent the money to have the plows and have the salt sit by, it wouldn't snow for 4 years, and then you've just wasted all that money. So it's kind of hard to know and be prepared for it. It's just like a hurricane hitting New York. They were not ready for that. We went up there to work. We were out there on the New Jersey, New York line, and they were not prepared for a storm of like, well, it wasn't hurricanes. It was a tropical storm, but they were not prepared for that at all. So I guess it kind of works away. We build our power lines for hurricanes, not for snow.
So when you do get snow down there and there's ice, what do you use on the roads?
We wait until the sun helps us out.
Ah, okay. So you don't put anything down?
Nah, no. That's the funny thing is like I mean, you might have some people, because I'm in an army town, so there's a lot of people here who was raised in New York or wherever, or just came from Fort Drum or Alaska, and they know how to prepare for it, and so they do. But at the same time, you're just going to do your sidewalk, maybe your driveway, but right. Nobody really messes with it. They just kind of wait, because generally, if there's snow on the ground by noon, it's gone. It's all gone. At least the roads are cleared up. So.
Well, Mike, you're in Virginia, right?
Yeah, Richmond area. So like they'll do like 95 and 295 by where I'm at.
Yeah.
But the rest of the roads, no, they won't.
No.
It's just, but most of the time, like you said, by noon it's all gone.
What do they use down there? If they put anything on the roads?
It's kind of like an antifreeze type salt type thing. They spray it out. You see kind of like a wiggly line going back and forth.
Yep.
And supposed to help break down the ice, because you'll have more black ice than anything else down here.
Yeah, it's probably rock salt. We use either rock salt or sand up here. It all depends. But we go.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in upstate New York till I was 33.
Nah.
And
whereabouts?
And and basically I've seen a lot of snow. It's just I'm in the Hudson Valley region there by Newburgh.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so we get snow through there, and I would have a snow blower, and I got tired of putting the chute straight up just to get the snow over top of the mound that I had there.
Yeah, we can accumulate up here, man. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that game the other night. It's 49ers and the Bills, and that's just crazy. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
My Niners didn't stand a chance in that snow. I think it's a cool culture, like people show up just to shovel the snow. Oh, I remember I was in boot camp. We had a few guys from Puerto Rico, and it snowed, and the RDC come in and he said, "Is anybody in here never seen snow before?" And we're like, "Yeah, well, come with me." And they come back like 12 hours later.
We're about
They've
to
been shoveling snow all day, and that was the day I found out about never again volunteer yourself.
So
Well,
Mike
Murphy,
Murphy, buddy, how you been?
Good. I'm basically retired. I take care of my wife. She had an accident about 2 years back, and so more or less I take care of her, and she's getting better every day. I've been making changes to the house, so a little bit of a change, but we're getting through and we do well.
I'm sorry to hear about her accident, bud.
Yeah.
How long you been married?
We've been married this coming December 26th, 26 years.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
No, that's cool.
I always say the Navy was my second best decision. She's my first.
Yeah.
I met her on an AOL chat line.
Ooh.
Oh,
when
no.
I was a what?
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah. I mean, I was stationed on board the Stennis down in Norfolk, and I would go over to a buddy's house, in the evening, stuff like that. And he had AOL, I had a computer, the AOL ring up. So
yep.
One Friday night, he was chatting with somebody, and I was telling him what to say, and I finally just said, "Get up and get out of the chair." And next thing you know, I'm chatting away. It's my future wife. So
that's cool.
We chatted online for about 3 months, and then I invited her up to Norfolk for the Neptune Festival. And she came up and pretty much been attached to the hip ever since then.
That's pretty cool.
That's a good story.
Yeah, she's from Durham, North Carolina.
Oh, that's the bad
Born
part.
and raised. She had worked for the state of North Carolina for about 30 years when I met her. And she followed me, and we just been having a good time.
Yeah.
We have gone from. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. So, how long were you in the Navy for altogether? You said the other day I talked to you, and you said you joined when you was in your 30s.
Yep, so I joined when I was 33. Turned 34 in boot camp. I stayed in for 23 years. Pretty much, I started out enlisted as I was a push button third coming out of ETA school, and went to the Stennis for 4 years, and then from there, I think it was on the first deployment. I was a ECTIS tech, which was this navigational chart thing on the carrier. So I got to be good friends with the navigator. So we're up on the bridge crossing on deployment in middle of February in the Pacific, and the waves are just crashing over the bow. And I look over, and here's this cruiser getting beat up, with the waves crossing the bridge and everything like that. Yeah, I want to do that. So after 4 years, I crossed deck to the Lake Champlain.
Oh, wow.
And I stayed, I was only supposed to do 3 years on her, but I extended an extra year, only because at that time I wanted to put in an LDO package. And so I transferred out of Lake Champlain. I was heading towards the Silver Strand in San Diego to work at SWIC, as a tech to work on the boats and stuff, which I thought was going to be a cool job.
Right.
And then detailer calls me and said, "Hey, job's been moved to Little Creek." I said, "All right, what the hell?" And then a couple days later, Captain McCarthy calls me. He goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm thinking, why the hell is the captain of a ship calling me and asking me how I'm doing?
What do you want?
So I go, "Hey, how you doing?" He goes, "Just want to let you know that you're out of uniform. You got picked up for LDO as an alternate, and so call a detailer, and everything changed at that point. So since I already was heading towards the East Coast, the detailer had me go to Fazback Bay Capes. I was stashed away there for like 9 months, hanging out with their ground EMO. And then I went off to Fork and Knife School, and I ended up getting commissioned as an ensign and went to the USS Stout, DDG 55, which at the time I didn't know was part of the heck, I forget it was, but it was 3 ships, 1 forward deployed, all for 18 months, and we just rotated crews. So we were considered the Sierra crew. So by the time I arrived, I was there for like maybe a month. We went outboard of another ship and then flew out to Bahrain, and we did a cross deck onto the Laboon or the Gonzales. So for 6 months, we're out there, doing a forward deployed deployment. And then from there, we came back, and then we took over the Laboon. I was there for like another year. And then time to pick another ship. So initially, I was supposed to go to the Radford, and there was an EMO there, and I called, telling him, "Hey, I'm going to be your relief." He goes, No, I just extended a year." I'm thinking, this is bad news for a IA right here. So I called the detailer back, and he goes, "Well, I can make you a stow over on the Oscar Austin." I said, "All right, I'll take it." So I ended up being the stow on board the Oscar Austin for 3 years, and that was a cool gig.
Right.
I mean, I didn't have anybody with that, and so it was just me and my CSMM, and we did was run drills and stuff like that on the.
What kind of ship is the Oscar Austin? I've heard that name before. I don't even know.
It's a DDG 79. It's another destroyer.
The new ones, one of the new ones, Arleigh Burke?
No, it was kind of like a hybrid. It was like in between a Flight 2 and a Flight 3.
Speaking of hybrids,
like a 2 Alfred.
Speaking of hybrids, Robert McCavanagh just told us all that we age horribly.
Oh yeah, that's true. There, I was
Thanks,
wondering.
man. Appreciate it.
I was wondering if I couldn't get it.
What's up, Robert?
I could do the overlay if. Nope.
So, I mean, when you were on Lake Champlain, you did the Westpac, the 0102. I'm pretty sure 0102.
Yep.
Yeah, that Westpac.
I got there in 01.
You were an E6, right? So you left the Lake Champlain as an E6.
Yep. Yeah, I got there as an ET2.
Yep.
And then I ended up, when I took the first class exam, it came back, said that I missed it by a couple points, but when they recalculated, I made it. So I picked up E6 at that point. So that's when I extended the year so I could do the LDO.
I remember you making grade. When you left the LKC, did you ever make E7 before you went LDO?
No.
No?
Nope.
Cool.
I did the straight right to the khaki. I know a lot of the chiefs on board really were disappointed. They wanted me to do go the chief route, but
the reason why I asked is Chief Ragsdale just showed up. That's why.
Okay.
Did you see what he wrote?
Yeah.
That's too funny. He commented, "How do I comment?"
replying just like
that.
I don't have my own confidence in my own.
Yeah. So, what kind of ET were you?
I was comms ET,
Okay.
but also navigation. I did, ran 6, Whiskey 3, SHF, EHF, the VHF.
Right.
Just almost any type of comms, and then I got into some of the radars, especially like the 67, 64. So a little bit of everything.
Who'd you share a workstation with? Who was in your division?
When I was there,
division, the CE division, right?
yeah, it was CE.
Yeah,
and it had like I remember like David Carrillo, Carlin. Just seeing a picture of those.
I'm looking in Cruisebook.
I know
right
it's
now.
like just one of the places you were stationed, so I'm probably asking you to just go way back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just wondering.
Well, it was Rob Taylor was the
that was the
ET1.
Yep.
He was the
That
ET1,
dude was
and
so
then there was
weird.
ET1
I loved him to
Robinson.
death. Oh yeah.
When I got there, but he transferred shortly after I got there.
Wasn't there an ET1 Sorensen too that was on board?
Oh my Lord.
Big
I feel
dude.
so bad. We didn't do so okay, so let me take a second.
5 bobblehead guy.
I want to take a second. Okay. If you're watching and what's going on, I just realized that we're just started talking like we normally would. We are doing a live today. We have Michael R. Murphy, not Michael Martin Murphy. That's a country music singer. Murph was on the Lake Champlain with Jay and I, and of course, everybody who's watching this most likely right now knows exactly who he is. But we're going to do a top 5 Christmas movie live today, and I just want to let you guys know this is our Christmas episode, and we're just going to do some catch up stuff. So I just wanted to take a second. And one thing, if you have not followed, Jay and I sit down with Chris Dale and had a great conversation. We didn't do the video side of it, but we had a fantastic conversation with him. So if you want to go check it out on the podcast for Chris Dale, you can find it on pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. So one of the things that Chris and I were going to talk about, but we wound up, doing what we do and forgetting, was talking about how mean we were to people and how bad I feel about being mean to people. Right. I do. I think about some of the things I did, and Sorensen was one of them. And he called Radar 4 one time, and he goes, I was like, Radar 4 or FC3 or FC2 lunch or Radar 4, whatever. And he goes, hey, lunch for blah, 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 blah. And I was like, hello, anybody there? And he goes like, hey, because I was on the phone. And I was like, no, hello. I couldn't hear him. And he just fired mad. And I finally walked down to CSMC, and he's flipping tables. He's mad about the way we treat him. And so I think about big-headed Sorensen all the time and how mean I was to that guy. And I really hope that people don't. Like, it bothers me a little bit. But that was old Jonathan. So,
dude, that was 20 years ago.
Oh yes, still, man. Dude, in the 8th grade, I walked up to a girl because I was told to do it. I walked up to her and I said, "Hey, I got a joke so funny make you laugh your boobs off." Oh crap! See, you already heard it, right? I still think about how horrible that was, and that probably ruined her. And I'm like, it still rips me apart. But anyway, so looking through my
Sorensen used to just get spun up on little things, and I would tell him, I said, because he would go to the smoke deck, and he gets spun up there. I'm like, hey, just let it go. You back to relax, because he would me. Well, I don't know. I think almost anybody could get him spun up. Honestly, yeah.
He slept right above me. I slept on the bottom rack. He slept in the middle rack. I totally forgot who slept on the top rack, but I remember it was like the second day he was on board, and he walked up, and I didn't see him the first day because I was on watch late at night. And I looked at him, I was like, holy hell, you okay? You need help? He was like, why? What do you mean? I was like, you're going to fall over, because I was talking about his head. It was really big. I was not nice back then. John knows I wasn't nice, but he got me back the next morning, because the next morning we both had to wake up at the same time. For some reason, he jumped out of his rack first, so I'm just laying on the bottom rack, just hanging out, waiting for him to move so I can get up. He bends over, and my man rips a fart so loud it moved my curtain on my rack. I was like, bro, please don't ever do that again. It was absolutely horrible.
To this date, he is the only Youper I have ever met. He's from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. He's the only person that I've ever known that's from there. So let's look through this ET list here on mine. And some of the people, obviously Dagger, Brandon Clark. I think about that dude regularly. And like I said, the other day, me and you talked to Knopfsinger and Carlton and all these people, like looking at these names and seeing all these faces. Chorus. And then there's Palmer.
Oh, yeah. James Chorus.
Chris Palmer. Palmore, or however you say his name.
Yeah, Palmore.
I remember that dude coming up on the smoke deck, and he could suck a cigarette down in about 30 seconds. Gone. Like, remember that, Jay?
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And it was like
I'd stare and be like, dude, you want another one? yeah.
Never seen nobody smoke a cigarette that fast. He'd chain smoke and suck them both through in like seconds. But there's a lot of people on this list, man.
Yeah, Matthew Peters. I felt sorry for him.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, IC2.
IC2, yeah. Dude, everyone's like, "Hi, IC2 Peters."
Adam Hardy, that story funny. But what about whatever? So Sam Sanders, do you remember that guy, Sammy Sanders?
Yeah,
I'm sure everybody does. That's a person I think about on a regular basis. I don't know whatever happened to him. Do you have any idea?
I think he got out, shortly after, but I can't remember what he did or anything like that.
He drank a lot. I remember that. Yeah, he was a funny dude. He was a really funny dude. I remember
and
that
then
guy.
At the time, our senior chief Lyons, Mike Lyons.
Oh yeah.
He used to call him.
Oh yeah, I remember that
guy.
He was a big dude.
Yep.
I'm probably older than he was then, but he felt like an old man then.
I got on watch at CSC, and it was like me, Senior Chief Lyons, and Master Chief Lawrence. Yep. And every time I come up to relieve Master Chief Lawrence, he would bitch me out because Senior Chief Lyons was late relieving him. And I was like, oh my God, what do you want me to do? I mean, my chief, you talk to him. You're over him. What
was the name of that watch in combat?
CSC, Combat Systems Coordinator.
Yep. I don't remember you standing that. You stood that? I don't remember that.
Yeah, that might have been after you left. Because it was like the last 2 years I was there.
Yeah.
I stood that watch.
You sit there next to the RSC. Yep. I was an MSS dude. I remember that back in the day.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. I remember like my first emo, Andre Miller. Do you remember him?
Andre Miller, yes. I remember Andre.
Okay. And,
yep.
Name.
And I know I went in there one time with a CAS rep, and he was just cussing me out. Different shit. But
Andre Miller, yes.
Yeah, he did it in a way that was, halfway decent. And I couldn't remember if it was either you, John, or maybe Bruce Taylor.
Probably Bruce.
That he turned around, he grabbed me before I walked out and goes, man, that's got to probably be about the coolest way I've ever seen somebody get bitched out. I was like, okay.
No, it might have been. Yeah, I remember that guy. I'm looking at the picture of him. Yeah,
I mean, I still talk to ET2 Leonard, Tom Leonard. You remember him?
Yep, I remember him.
Yep.
Peanut butter.
Man,
he's the one. He's the one that had an uncle that had like all of his aunts and uncles had freckles except for like one uncle, and his uncle told him that he put like peanut butter all over his face to kind of get rid of the freckles, and so he put peanut butter all over his face and then like they're all like, "You're a little kid and you want to get rid of freckles." That's and the one guy that don't have them, you'd believe anything. So
I want to say he had a Subaru.
Oh no, it was a Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And he nearly killed me.
He lowered that thing so low that he actually measured. It was the length of a cigarette from the
wow
to the bumper. It was just the length of a cigarette. That's how low it was to the ground. It was not.
How did he get over speed bumps?
He went really, really slow, very slow,
and
he always went like at an angle. But he went over him. But Yeah,
But anyway, so you went LDO,
Yep.
and that's so for the people who might be listening who don't know what LDO means. Can you kind of give a quick synopsis of what that is?
LDO is called limited duty officer. Usually, it's associated also with chief warrant officers. It's usually specialized in a certain area. Like mine was electronics. I was usually the EMO or the SISMO, combat systems maintenance officer, like on a carrier or amphib or DDGs and cruisers. It was EMO. Um, so you're in charge usually like ETs, ISEAMAN, and sometimes ITs.
So I remember them saying that the I seaman on our ship was in combat systems, but in a lot of ships that was a engineering role. Is that
Usually on like a carrier or an amphib, they're part of engineering because of the communications below decks. But like on cruisers and destroyers, they're always in combat systems.
interesting?
But yeah, so I did the emo tour on the Stout Gonzales Laboon there, and then I did a stow tour on the Oscar Austin, and then it was time for shore duty. So I call up the detailer, and he gives me three choices. Vacate or FASVAC out there in San Diego on San Clemente Island, where I'm out there out on the island from Monday to Thursday and fly home for the weekend.
Yeah.
Air base up in Pennsylvania that's on the BRAC closure list, or an air base in Meridian, Mississippi.
Uh-oh.
And I was kind of hoping to stay in Norfolk area because we just bought a house. And the guy goes, "Nope, you got to move." I'm like, "Okay, well." I go, "Let me take the one in Meridian, Mississippi." So we're about 2 days later, he's calling me frantic. He goes, "I can't send you to Meridian because it's the guy failed his PFA, so I got to send you somewhere else." And before I called him, I looked on there to see what was available. Everything was Japan. So sure enough, he goes, "I can make you the OIC of the CSCS detachment out there in Yokosuka, Japan." Okay. So after I got off the phone, I called the wife and said, "Hey, can you say konnichiwa?" That's where we're going.
So I guess that the higher you get in the ranks, especially in the officer world, your options are limited or less so than like an E5 gets way less or gets way more options than an O3, right?
Well, initially when I got in there, I didn't play the game well. Normally, I mean, after I got to Japan, I started talking to the detailer on a regular basis and seeing what's out there, what's kind of this and that, seeing what he's got to fill. So then I was a little better at negotiating orders and not getting sent wherever he needed somebody to go.
What'd you retire as?
Lieutenant commander.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
So you're our highest ranked guest yet. We're working on that. We got somebody maybe in the works that had a star.
Good deal.
We'll see if that works.
Ooh. Very nice.
Was that Kennedy?
No, it was one of the captains. I'm gonna try to work some magic. We'll see if it happens.
Okay.
I don't want to say a name yet because I don't know if it'll happen. So I don't want to.
Well, it's one or two, buddy. We only had two.
We were there for 4.
We were there for 4 captains.
Well, we were there for them, but we only went through 2 full ones. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it was. So I got there in June of '99, and then I left in September of '03. And we had Surface, Guillory, Wells, and then mix some
McCarthy.
Yeah, I was there very end of his, or the very beginning, his very end of mine. So I didn't spend that much time around the guy. So there was an officer on the ship that was actually the FCO, and his last name is Gian Bastiani, and his dad was a admiral or something And he was fast tracking his way up, doing pretty good. And I think about him pretty regularly because of that name. It stands out. Like, it's kind of cool. But
yeah. In fact, he was the CDO the day that President Bush visited the ship
oh, really?
on,
Oh,
on,
yeah. I remember
on
that happened
Saturday
after I
Duty
left.
Day.
That happened after I left. Jason Ripple was there that day. Saw a picture.
Yeah, he had his hat signed.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah, I
cool,
was the OD for the day, that was pretty cool because we were doing a tour for a retired general came on board to do a tour, and then Trey Osborne was chief of the guard, and we're the only ship on the pier, and he's hollering something over the phone over the radio. Hey, POTUS is coming. I'm like, stop playing around. He goes, no, look down the pier, and you look down the pier, and 3 black SUVs, driving straight up. They pull right up to the front. Secret Service jumps out, goes like this, don't do anything. And he gets out, walks up the plank, and goes, "Hey, Murph, how you doing? I want a cup of coffee and see the CDO." I said, "Yes, sir."
Dang.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a surprise. It was like all of a sudden.
Yeah, he was in San Diego for something and decided he wanted to go see a ship. We were happened to be the duty ship for the day.
That's crazy.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 46 of those people, 45 of those people, and so you get to meet one of them. It's kind of cool.
Yep.
No matter how you look at it, it's pretty neat, whether you like him or not. So,
what was Japan like?
Japan was pretty cool. We enjoyed it. At the time, my son was 9. He was 6. He was 6 to 9 years old during that time frame. The girls really went gaga over him because he had blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah. Well, you don't see much of that over there.
He was kind of young. Most of the time he hid behind his mom when they were like giggling at him. But he picked up Japanese pretty well. He would go into like the 100 yen store, which is like the dollar store, grab a little basket and start walking around, saying "sumimasen," excuse me, everything like that. And, people would want to come up and rub his head and stuff like that.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, we had a good time. We went to Tokyo Disney, which is a total different experience than regular Disney.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Right.
Because they will wait in line instead of taking the fast pass. And it's they're very polite. It's very safe. I mean, the kids, kindergarten, first, second grade, walk down the street, hop on a train, go to school, come back, all by themselves. There's like, you couldn't do that. I mean, Noah, he had ADH, and he was like, we couldn't let him go down the hill to the school that was on base there because he'd be like zigzagging all over the place before getting there. But we had a good time there. We were there during Fukushima when that happened.
Yeah.
My wife always says, everything happens when I'm out to sea. And so as OIC, we were doing what they called self-assessment grooming training, which was to teach Aegis ships how to use their Aegis weapon system against hierarchy threats. So part of it, we used to do training in the classroom, and then we would go and do training on board the ship and use their combat system suite to run drills and stuff like that. Well, in Japan, their op tempo is very high. I mean, they're usually they can get pulled out at a moment's notice, stuff like that. So I came up with the idea of doing the training with the ship beginning of the week, get all the lectures and everything out of the way first 2 days, and then we would get underway with them for the next 3 days, and then they would pull in to the Emma pier. We'd get off, and I'd have my ribs come out, pick us up, and take us in.
Right.
Everything was working great. Everything came fine. Thursday night, we're like steaming towards the ammo pier, be there. My BMC was going to have both ribs out there to meet us. All of a sudden, we go through this wicked wave. Like, what the hell? We going through a storm. Next thing you know, what we hear is that there was a earthquake and then a tsunami that happened, and we went through the wave.
On a rib.
Wasn't as big as it was up north.
Right.
So at that point, everything's all that. We can't get a hold of anybody on shore. So we're steaming up.
Survived.
The Commodore tells the captain, I want you to head up north to do, rescue operations, stuff like that. So he asked, can we pull up to the ammo pier and drop off CSCS and ATG? He goes, no, just go. But go slow by so we can catch up to you as the ships come out. So all of us, I had 6 military and 7 civilians on board with me. The civilians, they got paid an average of $45 an hour, 16 hours a day when they're underway.
Oh.
So we ended up getting extended out there for an extra 2 weeks. And finally, we were able to get a hold of an OPSEC LEO on one of the carriers to come pick us up.
What in the world?
And
pull
us off.
Wow.
And it was like, and they were shipping the families back stateside.
Mm.
So I got back just in time, say goodbye to my wife and son as they go back to North Carolina for 3 months. And it's just me and the dog.
What kind of dog?
It was a black lab.
There you go.
Yeah, she was good. We got her as a pup when we were living in Suffolk, Virginia, and she went with us to Japan, and then we went to Hawaii after that, and we were there for 5 years, and then she came back to Virginia.
That's one of the things I miss about the military, the Navy, just seeing places.
I've got to do a little bit of that.
So we were in Japan for 3 years, and then I was able to pick orders next, and I got the EMO gig on the Lake Erie, which at the time was the ballistic missile defense test ship for the MDA. So we pretty much stayed around Hawaii, but we'd go out and do test shots to shoot down missiles using SM6s and SM2s, that was cool.
That's cool.
We did nothing but BMD. So I did that for 3 years, and I picked up lieutenant commander. And when I was talking to the detailer, he goes, well, you don't want to just get everything done. You want to, kind of set. So they set me off, and I stayed in Hawaii for another 2 years at Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard as the PMA, project manager assistant, and I was in charge of all the surface ships that were stationed in Hawaii as far as doing maintenance and stuff like that.
Wow. So at the end of the day, are you glad that you went the LDO route? And I mean,
oh yeah, I wouldn't have done it any differently.
You made more rank that way. Because I guess you made four ranks in the officer world, and you only had like 2 more to make in the civil or enlisted side. So the retirement check probably looks a little nicer.
A little bit.
So yeah, well, that's cool, man. I'm really glad that you got to do all that cool stuff. Like my little brother's actually about to pick up captain in the Air Force right now. So it's pretty neat. He graduated from the University of Georgia and did the ROTC there, and then wound up going into the all that. Hey, if you're watching, comment, let us know you're watching. We're doing here in a little bit, we'll be doing a top 5 favorite Christmas movies. We're going to do it a little different than we did last time with the top list. So looking forward to that.
So like I told you guys before, I promised my youngest to come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell
you guys his favorite Christmas movie. And He's
I
going
was
to bed.
about to-
So yeah, he's going to bed. So
Come
he's
on.
going to come in right now. He's sporting the 04 level aft hat.
Oh, there you
All
go.
right.
My youngest, Cody, youngest of 4. I got 4 boys: Christian, Finn, Luke, Aaron, Sethy, Joe, and this is Cody James. So I'm going to give him the headset, let him sit
man.
down, and let you guys hear what he's got to say. Here he is.
Roger that.
Jonathan will ask you.
What's up, dude?
Hey.
What's up?
So your dad says you want to tell us what your favorite Christmas movie is. So is it your favorite Christmas movie, or is he telling you what to say? If you is it your favorite? Is it your favorite?
My favorite is The Grinch.
Which one?
Um,
You like the
No,
cartoon?
yeah, the cartoon one.
Yeah, there you go.
Because
That's
I
a good one.
like,
Yeah, that's good.
I like the human one and the cartoon one. I like them both because I like how the Grinch says "Gooby Lolly."
Hey, your grandma's on here. She says, "Hi, Code Man."
Where?
Ain't that funny? You got fans. You got more fans than I do. That's crazy.
So what's your favorite Christmas?
I
movie?
can't tell you yet. We're doing a surprise list. I can't tell you. Because if I do, they'll steal it. I'm not the biggest fan of the Grinch, but I do like of the Grinch. It's my favorite one's probably the human one with Jim Carrey. That was a good one.
Well, my second favorite one is Home Alone.
Oh yeah. Which one? You like first? You like the second one? Or just the first one? There's 2 of them that are really good Christmas movies.
The first one is that.
The first one. Okay. That's a good one.
Yep.
That's because it's in well anyway, yeah, you'll like that. That's good. Well, how old are you, man?
I'm 8
8.
years old.
All right.
Hey.
Yes.
You play baseball?
I used to as a kid.
You're still a kid.
You got a long ways to go.
Yeah. His brother plays ball, so he's probably you going to play ball like your brother and go to college or what?
I have a long time until college.
That's true. You do. Yeah, it'll be here before you know it, though.
Yep.
Not for you, but for your dad, it will be.
Tell them start saving money.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's a good looking hat, dude.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Hey, man. Merry Christmas.
All right.
Good night.
Merry Christmas.
Hey.
Good night, y'all.
Night.
All right, give me a kiss. Sweet dreams of Jesus.
Well, that was embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing, buddy.
There was nothing to be embarrassed about.
Nope.
That's awesome. Hey, your mom hopped on and said, "Hi, Code Man."
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
That's what they were waiting for. They don't care about us. It's just
Yeah, that's right. I'm like, she's got more fans than we do. That's not, or he's got more fans than we do. That's not fair. But well, I guess we can get going. Get the list going. Let's see, we're 45
Yeah, I'm excited
minutes
about
in.
this. How do you guys want to do this? You said
So here's what I was like for everybody listening. Last time we just created a list, and the list, if I had a movie and you had the movie, it was okay. So I wanted to do something a little different, and so go ahead.
Before we get going, I just want to state that a while ago, I actually asked everybody that followed our podcast on Facebook to give us ideas, and Mike was the one that came up with this idea. So he won the free O Level 4 hat, and he will get it in the mail. And congratulations, buddy! Probably the best cover you'll ever get in your life.
No,
I know you've had many covers, but this is the best. But yeah, buddy, congratulations.
Thank
Hey,
you.
before we roll into that, I asked you about the going LDO. I'm really curious. When you were an officer and you were wearing the combination hat and the sport coat and all that kind of stuff, was there ever a part of you that saw the guys in Cracker Jackson kind of miss the tradition of not wearing that?
He's straight.
Oh,
no. Hey, if that's no, it's no. It's fine. Because I've said my whole existence with military that the Marine Corps dress or Class A's sharpest uniform ever, no question. That the Navy dress blues is the coolest traditional uniform of all time. To me, it's just the coolest one. And now the Army brought the pinks and greens back. I don't know if you've got to see those yet.
Mm-mm.
They're the World War II pinks and greens. They're not wool though, but they are sharp. This kid come into church wearing them, and I was like, that's the first time I'd actually seen them with my eyes and not just on a picture. And I was like, man, that's a sharp uniform, dude. I'm a huge fan of that. So, but anyway, I just wanted to ask you that real quick before we got too far into this. So yes,
No,
Murph,
I don't. I never really missed the Cracker Jack. I mean, I like the officer uniform, the dress blues, the jacket. That was cool. I always liked the dinner dress. Which is kind of like the tux.
Yeah.
I like those.
Man, I'd hate to know how much that cost.
Yeah, even the gold thread was expensive. I tell you that.
Yeah, I bet.
I always like the summer whites.
Yeah. Summer whites were
it's really cool now that I think it's kind of neat that the females now are wearing the dress blues like we did. They wear the white hat. They're just the one hat. So I think that's kind of because the combination hat that the females had back when we were in, I always thought that was kind of weird. And so it's kind of neat that they get to wear the Dixie cup now, even though.
The only weird thing now is that Navy, working uniforms like green digi.
Yeah.
Green digit.
Yeah, that's
well,
great.
Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the green digital tiger, whatever, isn't that the exact same uniform for all the branches?
No, each, the Army, the Marines, and the Navy, there's a slight variation in the digi.
Oh, okay.
It's all supposed to be the same, but
It's just,
if you look at them
can
different, you can tell the difference.
Oh, cool. So we're going to do a top 5 list, but what we're going to do is we're going to do this kind of like a draft. So if one person picks the movie, the other person, nobody else can. And so we're going to go our number 5 through number 1. And the thing is that you don't want to put your favorite movie of all time, Christmas movie, at number 5 because it's kind of a shameful thing to do.
Horrible.
Because you need to treat this as if you have to print this on a shirt and present yourself to the public.
Blasphemy.
This is my list, right? And if they say why is this movie not on your list, say somebody else picked it. So you don't want to have the greatest Christmas movie number 5 on your list. So you kind of got it, but that means that you run the risk of somebody else snagging it.
Right.
So
yeah.
So that makes it.
I'll do 5, then I'll do 4,
I'll do 5. I'll do 4. So I'll let
Lieutenant.
We'll let Lieutenant Commander go first.
We knew him as ET1.
Right.
Commander.
So,
right, so I just give you my number 5.
Right. Yes.
Number 5. Yep.
So
what in the world?
My number 5.
Did you have a video clip of it? Nice.
No.
Hey, Elijah. He's my brother-in-law. He's a captain in the Army.
Oh, boo. Yeah. Thanks.
Hey,
Steph. It's not even him.
Oh, it's not even Elijah. It's okay. My sister Stephanie.
All right. So my number 5 is the Polar Express.
Oh, I'm glad I don't like that movie. I did not put it on my list.
Well, I listened to my wife on that one.
It's a very interesting movie. We can chat about them as we go. The one reason that I don't like it is because that one little snotty kid that's on the train. But she's gonna be like just driving me crazy. But it is a movie that gets played every year in the house at some point. Yeah. And then when it's on, I'm gonna sit there and watch it because the kids like it. So
the kids go crazy over it.
It's not a bad movie.
I like the part with the train on the ice with or on the snow with all the caribou, and the guy's kind of like yanking on his beard.
Was that
caribou?
Caribou! I remember that part.
That's awesome. So let me write these down.
I actually think there's a train in upstate New York that does this during the wintertime. It's called the Polar Express. Steffi, who's in it? We were all in the Navy. We were all on the same ship at one point.
Yes, at one point. The Lake Champlain is mine and Jay's only ship, and one of 45 ships that Murphy
the Lieutenant Commander was on. All right, you want to go next there, Sailor?
No, you go ahead.
All right, my 5th one is an older one. It's something that I've watched ever since I was a kid. It was actually filmed in 1938, and it was with Reginald Owen. It was one of the original A Christmas Carol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I saw that.
It's an old black and white.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
it's my number.
I'm
5.
writing this down. So, okay, so I will not lie to you guys. I will tell you that I had to Google top 100 Christmas movies because I could only come up with like 4 or 5, and I was like, man, this ain't right because somebody's going to steal mine, and it's going to really be upsetting to me, and I don't want that to happen. So there was a lot of movies on there that I'd never heard of, and The Christmas Carol was one of them, and I don't know that I've ever seen it, and if I have, it's probably been 20 years or so. So great.
Well, I know it's
It's
been
on
played.
the list. It's in the top 10 about every list I've seen. So I should probably watch it.
The Christmas Carol has been done like very different because it has one with George Scott or George C. Scott was Ebenezer Scrooge, and then you got a whole bunch of other Alistair Sinclair, which is 1951.
You got the cartoon with Jim Carrey too with it that was done. The Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol, with Donald Duck Christmas Carol, it's all that stuff.
So the Scrooge McDuck one was one of the best ones. But my number 5, same thread, and I was going to stop you before you said it, was the Bill Murray Scrooged.
Ooh.
That was a good movie. I actually forgot about that movie until I started looking through the list, and I'm like, man, that's a good movie. So I am not the biggest fan of Bill Murray. I can take him or leave him, but Caddyshack he was just part of. But Groundhog Day and Scrooge was like the movies that I can handle watching of his. So
his sense of humor is very dry.
It is very different.
It's very different, very sarcastic. That's one thing I like about it. You might. Yeah. I think it's hilarious if he's looking at someone who goes, "Duh," that kind of thing. I just think it's funny. He's always been funny.
Well, that actually was my number 3, but okay.
Oh no, now you lost it. Oh boy. So the way he was in Stripes, was the like, okay, this is annoying, but then I find myself if it's on, if a Bill Murray movie's on, I'm not turning it off. I'm going to watch it.
Right.
But I can also simultaneously say I'm not the biggest fan of his. So
especially Groundhog Day. I can watch Groundhog
Day
all year round.
I watch it every day.
All right, number 4. Mike, what you got?
Number 4, I got National Lampoon Christmas Vacation.
That's pretty low. I'm going to say that's really low on your list. You would imagine that would be much higher on your list.
That was my number 1, Mike. That was my number 1. Damn you. But it's okay. We'll get through this together.
So I saw a clip the other day on YouTube or TikTok or whatever where a girl had never seen the movie. She talked about it forever. So she sat and watched it and then just videoed herself watching it. And you can't see the movie, you can hear it. I probably could have sat and watched that entire video of her watching that movie, knowing what's happening, and just her laughing and reacting to the cat biting national. Okay, that is one of the greatest movies. Because you did it there, so you stole it from me as well. So I wouldn't have put it that low though. I'm going to shame you a little bit. So anyway, Jay.
Well, you gotta shame them.
That's what I said. We gotta shame them for putting it so low, making them want to hold on to it. So maybe I can steal it from another spot. So anyway,
all right. Number 4, I put Gremlins. Awesome movie.
Okay,
very good movie.
I saw that.
Not real high in the list, but low enough that it's in the top 5.
So okay, I was like, I saw that on the list of all those 100 lists and stuff, and it's been so long since I've seen it. Is it a Christmas movie or is it just? I didn't remember that, so I was like, wow.
Happens around Christmas, yeah.
Well, that's the question. Is it what makes it a Christmas movie? Does it have how much Christmas does it have to have in it to be a Christmas movie?
If this is
my number 4 is going to be in the questionable ones. Everybody always questions it since you guys didn't pick it.
Oh, then I know your number 4. It's got to be Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Yes.
Oh, you
bastard. Was that your first?
Die Hard 2.
Yeah.
Die Hard 2. Not Die Hard, because that's a questionable one. Die Hard 2 is strictly Christmas. It is way more Christmas. If there was anybody that was questioning whether Die Hard was a Christmas movie, nobody ever questions Die Hard 2. Die Hard 2 happened in the airport. I wish I'd been there with you. Yeah, me too.
You can't question about Gremlins.
I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen Gremlins. Well, I don't know.
Gizmo, the Mogwai, was bought as a Christmas gift.
Was it?
Yes,
That's
for his
right.
son.
There you go.
So
Die Hard 2, by the way. Die Hard 2.
Okay.
Okay.
So Die Hard
Yeah.
1's still on the table, Mike.
All right, good.
Unless I grab it.
Die Hard 2 is way less questioned than Die Hard is.
Yeah.
But Die Hard shouldn't be questioned, in my opinion. I don't care what Bruce Willis says. He's an idiot. He says it's not a Christmas movie. Yeah, whatever. Well, they say Christmas 18 times in that movie. It's a Christmas movie.
All right, Mike, number 3.
All right, number 3. I'm gonna have to go with the Santa Claus.
Ooh, Tim Allen.
Ooh, golly.
Yeah.
That's
That's
on
a good
mine.
movie.
That's a great movie.
Okay.
Santa Claus with an E. We went. I looked it up. That movie came out in '94. We went and watched it in the movie theater. '94 was a great year. A great year for movies. Santa Claus, Dumb and Dumber. It's a great year for movies. I probably spent a lot of time in the movie theater that year. Not the most, because that was definitely whenever I was in Chicago. I spent the most time. So Santa Claus, great franchise of movies. Did a lot of good ones. But that first one was just bang.
First
bang,
one was probably the best.
No, most of the time that's the way it is. So, but what you got, Jay? You chomping at the bit?
No, this was hard for me. The top 3 was really hard for me because there's so many movies that I love when it comes to Christmas. Like, I can't say all of them, but I broke it down to the top 3. One is already taken, so I'm gonna have to replace that. But my number 3 is A Christmas Story. Fragile.
That was me hitting.
Shoot your eye out with that.
Must be Italian. It's a major award. Yes. It's A Christmas Story. My number 3.
I really want to pick Die Hard now, but I'm not going to. So Christmas Story is one of the greatest movies. And I'll tell you why. Because there's no other movie that can be played for 24 straight hours on TV and nobody complain about it.
Unless a
You
Christmas
know, Christmas Story, you watch the whole thing, pick it up, watch it again a little bit later, turn the channel, turn back on. I think it's TNT plays it for 24 straight hours on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And you know what? I'm going to tell you what really got me was one day I was watching something on TV and the dad was on another movie. And I'm like, looking at him like, wait a minute. And then I didn't realize that movie was made in the 80s because it looks like it was in the 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
And so my brain's thinking that's when it was made. And that's pretty funny. That's
Deck
a great
the Halls.
movie.
Deck the Halls too is a very good movie.
Which one is that? I saw that pop up there.
It's with Arnold Schwarzenegger. No,
And Sinbad.
not. It's with
Deck the Halls. I don't
with
know.
Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito.
Oh yeah, they're neighbors.
They're neighbors, yeah. And Danny DeVito wants his house to be seen from outer space because of the lights. Yeah, and he drives Matthew Broderick insane. Yeah,
So my number 3 movie is a must watch every year for me. So basically how I picked them is the ones that I have to sit and watch at least once during Christmas. And all of mine I can watch year round. All of these on my list I can probably watch year round. But this movie is a fantastic movie, and that's Christmas with the Cranks.
damn it.
I love that movie. It is so I only got like 12 on my list. So
Mike grabbed my number 1. John grabbed my number 2.
I love that movie. Christmas of the Cranks is a great stinking movie. And like the whole premise is makes sense, right? The kids are gone. Why we spend all this money on Christmas stuff? Let's just go on vacation. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yep.
Until the lineman hits the cutout with a hammer and the lights come on.
Donk. Yep.
Okay, trust me, that is not how that works. But that is not how that works. But it's still pretty cool. It's pretty funny. I love that movie. To me, that's I don't remember what year it came out. It was early 2000s. I had never seen it. My dad said they went and saw it in the movie theater, and he loved it. And I'm like, well, my dad likes it. I don't know about all that. But I finally got around to watching it, and I was like, man, that's a great movie. So let's start over, or let's recap. So Murph, for 5, you got Polar Express. For 4, you picked National Lampoon's Christmas.
Vacation.
And then for number 3, you had the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. Jay was 5 with Christmas Carol, the 1938 version.
Yes.
Then you had the Gremlins,
Yep.
which was until this episode debated as to whether it was a Christmas movie. Now we know better. Then for number 3, you had the Christmas Story with Ralphie, and stole that from me, and and made me mad. That's a great
Major award.
It's fragile. It's Italian, you know.
Fragile.
Then for number 5 for me, I put Bill Murray's Scrooged.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 was Die Hard 2 because I like that one pretty good, and I actually kind of like that movie better. And then number 3 is Christmas with the Cranks with Tim Allen and what's her name from Halloween? Jamie
Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. And this started with J. So anyway, so White Christmas. I'm looking at the list. We got White Christmas and
Deck the Halls.
Deck the Hall. I'm looking at the list. Can you see the list, Murph? That's up here?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you could or not. I didn't know how that worked.
Yeah, it's right there on the side.
Okay. So what you got number 2?
Number 2, I have Home Alone.
Ooh, very nice.
I assume you're talking about number 1. Great movie also. I think that movie came out in 94 too. Or 92. What year did it come out?
Number 1 was very good. Number 2 was also very good. Number 3, I'll never watch again.
No.
It's like The Godfather.
It was a waste of 2 hours of my life.
The Godfather 3. Thankfully, I watched it on a VHS. I was able to like pop it out and like, I'm done watching this. So. But Home Alone, great movie. Classic movie. So the really cool little tidbit about it was somebody pointed this out years ago, is that when he delivers the pizza this year, as you watch it, look at what's on the list of what he's carrying, what he says, and then how much it costs. Pizzas are cheaper now than they were then. I don't remember the numbers.
What?
He's like 12 large pepperoni pizzas, and it was like more expensive then than you can get them now. It's cheaper now, which is kind of weird. And that was early 90s.
Well, they were in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
That's better pizza, though.
Chicago style. Deep dish.
I
That's
remember
stuff.
I do. Both of them are good in their own way. But Chicago pizza is really good. As long as they don't have pineapples on it, we're good.
All right, number 2. Number 2 for me.
Let's start it. Number 2. Go ahead.
You got to go with Elf, bro. For number 2.
I think my number 1 is safe.
Number 1, Elf.
No. Number 2.
Number 2. Sorry.
So I had somehow, that was one of the movies I hadn't seen in a long time or ever. And I heard everybody talk about it. And I finally got around to watching it. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Will Ferrell. I'm like not the hugest fan of him. I'm not anti-Will Ferrell, but that movie is stupid funny. I laugh the whole time.
See, that's my problem. I watch things and if it's stupid funny, I'll die. Like when he tried to put the damn star on the tree and he bounced off the couch and landed in the tree and the whole tree fell over. Dude, I rewinded that like 10 times and watched it. I was dying on the ground laughing.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
It was. I was over.
You got any syrup?
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if anybody's ever tried to put syrup in their spaghetti to see if that tastes good. So, but that's a great movie. That's a fantastic. And one of the things that's really cool about it is the commentary. What was his name? Bob Newhart. It's pretty cool. Like it was pretty neat. So number 2 for me is. And I guess it could be a questionable as whether or not it's a movie, but and that is the 1950s CBS claymation of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Of course, it's a movie, bro.
Yeah, that's a movie.
Absolutely.
Now I do not like because if you're watching it on TV and it comes on when the Rudolph story is done, then the I'm Mr. Arm, like I turn that off. I don't watch that part, but the Rudolph part, and it's interesting to me. I didn't know this until later on in my life, is that there was never a mention of Rudolph ever until that came out. That was the very first time it was ever brought up. And so this entire song and the storyline and all that happened because CBS put it in the claymation form. So kind of cool. But Rudolph is my most, It's one of my favorites. I remember when it only came on CBS and it only come on Sunday night, and it was always like one of the first Sunday nights of the month. And if
Yeah,
you missed it, you didn't get to watch it until next year. You better hope you catch it.
Yeah, it was like that's what kicked off Christmas.
Right.
Was-
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Yes, sir. Bubbles
Well,
bounce.
Bumble's hungry. That's pretty funny. He wants to be a dentist, and they're like mad at him. That's pretty funny. Like,
I want to be a dentist.
he's anti-dentite. The rest of them were anti-dentites. That's the problem.
Cornelius. I love that guy.
Okay, so have we stopped on each other's toes too much? Because
You know what? I think we're good. I think
Yeah.
we're good. I have a feeling that I know what Mike's is, number one, and I might know what Jonathan's is.
you do not know what mine is.
I think I do.
Guarantee it.
But I would like to do a twist on this for the number one.
Okay.
To state your number one and also why it's your number one. I know we've been talking about our picks and everything, but you yourself, why is it number one?
Okay.
Why you like it so much?
Okay.
That's you, Murph. You first.
Yep, my number one is you probably guessed it. Die Hard.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. One because it was good action. There was some comedy to it. You got
Hans Gruber.
Hans Gruber. Especially all the memes now. It's not Christmas until Hans. All 24 stories.
That's funny.
And then I'm trying to think who plays the black cop.
The guy from Family Matters.
Yeah, and he does it really good. I mean, he's eating Twinkies, stuff like that. Everything a good nourishing a growing boy needs.
Right.
And it's all pretty cool. I liked it. The whole action, and everything. And
Great movie.
And then at the end, when the wife decks out the reporter for, threatening her kids there. So I thought that was pretty good. Which leads into Die Hard number 2 because they're on the airplane together.
Right. Carl Winslow, Cody Gates.
Yeah,
Cody
Gates. Wow.
Oh yeah.
So Cody. Now I don't want to out you right here, but I'm really curious. Did you take that spot or not? You can just write yes or no, and then I will leave it. We'll leave because he had messaged me about something, and I'm curious. And I've been curious. I've just been trying not to bother him too bad because I'm really bad for that. Number 2, Jason Becker.
What happened?
Number
What's
1.
your number 2? Oh, you're number 1. Sorry.
I was gonna say. No, Cody, you and I have to talk, bro. Number 1. I went with a classic, guys. It's a Wonderful Life. I know.
Oh,
I know.
yeah.
I know.
That's a
It is
good one.
classic.
I like it because it's kind of, I don't know. I mean, you can relate to it because I know for a fact in my life there's been moments where I just wish I wasn't around. Like what did I do? And this guy had an actual chance of seeing what the life would be without him in it. Everybody around him would be.
And plus Jimmy Stewart's the greatest.
And Jimmy Stewart's the best.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it.
1946. So that means that all of your movies, except for maybe Elf, was in the 1900s. That's sad, huh? So you said you can guess my number 1. I'm going to try. Guess what's my number 1. I want to see if you get it. There's no way you got it.
You don't think so?
Because, well, I'm going to be fair. My number 1 is what's left.
Mike, you want a shot at this? Check if Mike.
You guys have picked Christmas Story was my number 1, hands down.
Right.
But it got picked. I knew it would, so I had to have one on standby.
I'm guessing it's White Christmas.
No.
Mike, can you guess? Do you have a guess for him?
I didn't even put it on the list.
A Charlie Brown Christmas.
Ooh, that's on my list. It's on my list, but it's not. And so I'm from the South, and so things are a little different for me in my brain. I absolutely love this entire series of movies, and I'm going to do it. Ernest Saves Christmas. Fantastic movie. It's hilarious. Listen, now you don't now. Hey, if that movie, you go and watch that movie, and you watch your kids laugh at that movie, and you watch your kids have so much joy watching that movie, and it'll become one of your favorite movies.
Well,
Ernest goes to camp. Ernest
right.
goes to jail. Ernest saves Christmas. They're silly. They're absolutely silly. But when you got a room full of little kids and they're just excited about it, it makes you want to watch it again.
I can't believe you were in charge of a weapon system on board a ship.
Ernest,
Fucking ship.
Ernest Saves Christmas is a great movie.
I gotta say, Ernest Goes to Camp is a great movie, dude. It really is. I like it.
Ernest Goes to Camp.
Serious Fern.
It is a great movie, and I mean, again, if you guys would have left my list alone, you wouldn't have heard it. But yeah, that's what happens. So that's part of the whole draft process, like you picking and so. But I mean, I wrote it down on my 12 or 13 movies to pick from. So
does anybody have any honorable mentions?
Charlie Brown Christmas, hands down.
Yeah, Charlie Brown Christmas.
I think Home Alone 2 stands by itself. Doesn't need the first movie. It's really good on its own.
I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's this movie called The Family Man.
No.
Yeah, with
Nick Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Is that the one where like he kind of wakes up in the suburbs and like he thinks he's okay? Yeah, I've seen it. Was that Christmas or I don't remember.
Christmas.
Yeah, that was during Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, traditional Miracle on 34th Street. Ever puts on.
Yep. Christmas, of course.
White Christmas is a great movie. I think there's not a whole lot. If you look at the lists are weird. There's some that are like, are you sure you're calling that a Christmas movie? Because one of them had a Long Kiss Goodnight on that. That's a great movie. But a Christmas movie? I don't know. That's when I think of that, I don't think Christmas. So.
I think Jingle All the Way with Schwarzenegger and
that was a
good.
fantastic movie.
Yeah.
That was on there. And then the Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell.
Yes, yep. They got two of those now, right?
Yeah. The second one with Goldie Hawn.
Yep. That was an interesting movie because that's kind of neat how that all played out. And of course, there's a lot of like the Shrek did a Christmas special. That was actually kind of cool. But I wouldn't put it on this list for sure. But there's a lot of really cool Christmas special stuff that people do. Different movies. Star Wars was pretty funny. They take Chewie back to his family. It was kind of neat. And it's kind of cool. Like it was 80s. It was actually the first the Star Wars first three movies, and then that Christmas one was the next thing they did, and until later on. So, but yeah, there's a lot of good movies, and I'm surprised. I imagine that list would be, yeah, I'm serious, Bern. A lot of those movies would be. I'm okay with not watching them, but I was looking at that list. That's a big list. I have to go watch the Christmas Carol, the 1938 version of it.
Oh, I love it, man. And Ernest, I just love the way he laughs.
I grew up. He's redneck. I love it. It's funny stuff. I knew people like that, so that's probably why I like that movie so much. But so years ago, we were doing a youth thing at church, and there's just like a campground here, and they use it for all over. But our pastor at the time, he was the groundskeeper for it, so we always started the year. We were the first ones to use it, get it all prepared for our kids, and then we'd clean it up really nice, and then they would use it throughout the year. So one year we were coming to the end of camp, and I said, "Man, I tell you what. Ernest Goes to Camp would be a great movie if we can find it." And so somebody found it, and then the pastor screened it and make sure that it was okay to put that out there. And he come in smiling. He goes, "Man, I'm looking forward to this." And we had a projector and a giant sheet and threw it on that thing, had the sound. And I mean, you're talking kids from like 6 to like 14. And it was just a roar fest for a whole hour and a half. It was great. And it's the same way. I mean, if you get Ernest Saves Christmas, your kids will love it. And sometimes when your kids love something, you love it more, but just because they like it. So that's why it's on my list.
All depends on how many times they've watched it.
I don't think it matters.
Some of it doesn't.
I sing the Wiggles in my sleep.
I was telling
That's not good.
I was telling one of my kids that the Upside Down show. If you ever remember that, if you ever watched that one, that was hilarious. I loved watching that with my kids. It was so funny.
Well, the list was awesome, guys. The list was awesome.
And Murph, appreciate you coming on.
No
Appreciate the
problem. I
idea.
enjoyed it.
Appreciate the idea. Glad you're kicking and doing good.
Congratulations on being the first one ever to win a hat, dude. Awesome job. Seriously.
Yep.
We're gonna do it again.
Good deal.
Yeah. So my hair's all jacked up. So we are trying to have another episode. We're going to try to have one more live before probably. I don't know if we can pull it off next week. We're going to try. Maybe next Thursday is what we're scheduled right now. We're going to talk to a gentleman, and he is going to kind of explain the difference between the Air Force and the Space Force.
Ooh.
And so
He's an interesting conversation.
It will. So if you have any questions about Space Force that are clean, email them or write them on the thing. Comment on. You can comment on this afterwards. So it's a special guest. I got it. Hopefully it works out. And then we'll probably take a break until the end of the Christmas season, so January, and get fired back up. So Murph, thanks for coming on. And
No problem. I appreciate it. You guys
Thanks for
have a
your
great
support.
Christmas holiday and all that.
You too, brother. Dude, I'm so glad that you did so well. You know,
right.
Your journey in the Navy was awesome. You know, you started late, like you said, 30, 32, 33. And dude,
33.
Awesome job, man. One hell of a career. And we'll be praying for your wife. I hope she gets better.
Yeah,
and
dude, it's she's gonna be in a wheelchair, but we got a positive outlook. She has a strong faith in God. And so
and that of itself right there, that faith that she has will pull her through.
Yep.
Really.
I'm pretty handy with a hammer and a nail, and I've done some pretty good things so far to make it easier for her. So
good.
Over the next year, hopefully we can get a lift put in for her to get upstairs, and then we'll be back to normal.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Right. Well, man, that's good to hear. So, well, thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for watching. Share it. Let everybody know we're doing this. I'm kind of curious what you guys think. Are we doing okay? Does it make sense? What we're doing, working. If it's not, let us know. We can tweak on it, fix it, make it better. We want to do that and get this ball rolling. And if you didn't check out,
do us a favor and write a review. That would be awesome.
Right. Yeah, especially
page. That'd be nice.
Please. And share it with your military buddies. We're going to, like I said, we got an Air Force guy coming next week. So it's the first time we're branching outside of the
outside the Navy. Okay.
Which I don't want this to be Navy only, even though it's called 04 level. There's a lot of really cool stories and a lot of really cool people out there. So we'll see how this works and make it happen. So if you got any questions about the Space Force, message us, email 04levelaft@gmail.com. Go on the Facebook page and follow us on Facebook. At least follow us on Facebook and YouTube, and hit all the little bells and whistles, and share us around, and at least do it for a little bit. You can take it off later. They don't care if you take it off. They care if you do it once. So,
hey, you'll have a replay of this on Facebook.
It'll be on. As soon as we're done, it'll be here for a while. So
what we're going to try to do is get on the TikTok too. So maybe do a couple lives on TikTok, probably in the future, but.
Well, we'll see if it sticks around. It's about to take it away. So we'll see.
Sure, they'll branch off.
Right. They'll do something.
Right. That's a lot of folks that are going to miss out on that. I mean,
I'm going to tell you, I'm not disappointed. I would probably be more disappointed if they don't get rid of it, because I could probably use some more free time. I spent a little too much time on that thing.
All under your control, though, John. That's under your control.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, the TikTok. Brian Dell.
Oh, look who showed up.
Brian was.
Yeah. He was quiet.
At the bitter end.
Yeah.
You remember the bitter end? Unwrapped?
Yep. Yeah. There he is. Old Dahlheimer.
Or the bitter end in No Country. That's usually where they stick all the LDOs.
Oh, really? Nice. Oh, yeah. I guess that would have been right there, right on the backside of y'all's berthing. Right?
Yeah. The flight deck's right above.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
But it was all right.
Yeah. Y'all got paid more. Y'all got paid for it, so it's okay.
It's all right.
Okay, man.
Well,
Appreciate it.
yep.
Jay did great. Appreciate you. Tell your boy thank you, and tell him what our favorite movies are because he wanted to know.
Oh,
Die
I
Hard
will.
and-
I wrote them all down, and I'm pretty sure next live he'll get on. He'll get on and say hi again. He loves it.
Okay.
Good deal.
He
He's
wants to
good.
be. He wants to be a YouTuber. So,
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
There's some
hey,
that make money.
well, when I was his age, I wanted to be a chimney sweep. Believe it or not. So, yeah, he's a lot farther along than I was.
if you really want your mind blown, look up who the richest YouTuber is, and his little boy likes to open up presents.
Ryan, is it Ryan?
I don't know. He just opens up packages and plays with them for 2 minutes and picks up another one. The kid has more money than all three of us combined can ever imagine. It's insane.
Gentlemen,
Have at it. Appreciate it. Love y'all. Be
Yep.
good. If you need
Bye.
anything, let us know.
We'll do. Y'all have a good one.
All right,
take
see
care, buddy.
Bye.
Hold on, Jay. So, real quick before we get off here, appreciate everybody hopping on.
No
Taking-
laughing there, Delheimer. I wanted to be a chimney sweep.
Now Brian's all like, "Oh yeah,
Wait a second. Why are you guys leaving now? I just got here.
yeah." I had to finish my 3 bottles of wine before I could start. I'm sorry, Lord. I apologize.
You know,
Hey,
bring me down there, New Guinea, man.
but hey, everybody, for real. Next week we're gonna try to have a guy on. He's going to explain the Air Force, Space Force to us and what they are, what he can. He said what I can talk about. I said obviously, duh. And this is kind of a surprise guest, so we'll see how that works out and go from there. And we're gonna do it live. I say we're going to do it live. Kind of fill it out. He might decide he'd rather not do it that way, so we'll see. So, anyway, Merry Christmas. Hope you guys have a wonderful time. Good date with your family. Try not to argue too much. Don't spend too much money on silly stuff. And if you do, buy me something.
Spend time with your wife and kids, or husband and kids.
Yeah, with your family. You only get them once, right? So,
Only one to go around in this jerk, man. Only one go around.
Way to reach for the stars, Dahlheimer. Glad you made it back safe, Brian. And see y'all later.